G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the south side of the map, playing as the Rus in the colour yellow, it's Louis MT. And in the north of the map, in the colour red, playing as the Delhi Sultan, it is Don Quixote. Ladies and gentlemen, it's actually the Muslim, but that's his name at the moment, so I figured I'd just get all Spanish on you guys. Anyway, how you guys doing? Welcome to the casted game. I'm excited for this game. We've got ourselves some interesting civilizations. We got the Delhi, we got the Rus. I saw a couple of comments saying, Drongo, can you stop posting English games? So I looked my hardest to find English games that didn't have an English player in them. And I tell you what, it took me quite some time. But before we get into it, of course, this game is brought to you by Patreon. If you want to improve, make sure you check it out there. Replay reviews, private coaching, exclusive content. You can find it all on Patreon. Link, obviously, in the description. Now, let's talk a little bit about these two players. Of course, we've got Louis MT from the Asian region. One of the best players, in fact, probably the best player from the Asian region, with maybe the exception of Lenok. Lenok's obviously been at the top for quite some time when it comes to Age of Empires 4, but Louis is definitely looking to take his place. When it comes on the other side of the map, though, Muslim, obviously an Age of Empires Titan, an RTS Titan. He's been in the scene for quite some time. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what he pulls out today. Now, the Delhi Sultanate are probably the best civilization that there is at the moment, and I don't say that lightly. I genuinely think this civ is amazing. Now, one of the big things that contributes to that is village fortresses. Obviously, you guys will be very familiar with that. What I'm actually... I just realized, hold on a minute, we've got secret hunting cabins. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to tell you that the secret hunting cabin is taking over. It's interesting that they don't go all the way into the forests with the secret hunting cabins. They kind of like just put them here. And like the thing is, like, Louis knows that this isn't the center of the forest. But the thing is, I feel like he can't really dig much deeper, because if he does, there's the risk that he gathers up to 10 wood on these villas. You can see this one's at 9, and he can't really risk that, because once you do, then you've got to make the walk back. But on top of that, you kind of just want to get your gold tickling in or trickling in as soon as you can. Yeah, I guess the way I like to think about it is, I mean, you want to be idealistic, right? Like, you want to get every single tree that you possibly can. So you are missing a few here, but obviously you've got to be realistic. So anyway, age up's now starting to come through. Muslim, Tower of Victory coming in, which to me indicates that it's going to be a bit more of an infantry-based play. Might be looking for men-at-arms, crossbows, that kind of thing, which does make sense in this situation. But obviously up against the Rus, it's likely that you'll see things like... maybe even some, I was going to say knights, maybe, I was going to say camel archers, but obviously you won't see any of those. Horse archers could be coming out. Nice little haul here from him. Now, when it comes to the bounty, we don't know exactly how much the Rus bounty is at the moment. Obviously, we know that it's at least 100, because we can see that the villages are glowing, and we'll keep a track of this hunting cabin to see if it increases over 43 gold a tick or not. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little guy on follow right here, and I'm going to turn something on. I'm going to walk you guys over. I'm not even kidding you. I'm walking over to my... I've got a little fan below my desk, and I've just turned that bad boy on. And now I'm sitting back down. I'll tell you what, we're starting to heat up in this game, and we got ourselves a Kremlin coming in. Look at this Kremlin. Kremlin right in between these two wood lines. And this is actually a pretty decent Kremlin spot. You know, often if I'm playing China and I'm looking for a Barbican position, it's like, this is not a good Barbican position. But interestingly, this is a very good Kremlin position, because a Barbican here, I mean, what does the Barbican do? The Barbican denies entry into this area, but that's about it, right? A wall would do the same thing. Whereas you're probably going to be wanting some sort of stone, some sort of gold, and you need to protect those resources. The Kremlin's actually really good here, because these are your primary wood sources throughout the rest of the game. And this is going to buff them up and mean that you don't need to make wooden fortresses here to buff these guys up. So I like that a lot. So yeah, really nicely played by Louis. When it comes to the game plan for Muslim, my suspicions that he's going to be obviously looking to go into archery ranges, look to try and maybe even go open up with a stable or something like that, and then move into a largely infantry composition. He's going to be wanting to take sacred sites, but have a look at the sacred sites. Is it just me, or does it seem a little bit far away from Muslim here? I mean, this one in particular, this one is like right outside the base of Louis. This is kind of wild, right? Like, it's crazy to me that, like, Lipany is considered by many to be one of the, not necessarily the standard maps, but the kind of, the map that you, you don't really get that mad at Lipany very often. I mean, you do get mad at it. Sometimes the spawns are just absolutely terrible, but even then, you know, I was actually thinking about it. How would you guys feel about this? And this is just me like spitballing ideas. But as you will know, Age of Empires 4, the maps in Age of Empires are procedurally generated. That means that when you spawn into a game, basically the game says, okay, well, we're going to put a wood line here, and because your wood line's there, we need to put your gold somewhere, and we'll put it close by there. Okay, that's your starting thing. And sometimes it doesn't always generate correctly. Sometimes it misses things. As an example, Altai, it used to generate the mountains before it would generate the sacred sites. It used to generate the mountains before it would generate the trading posts in the corner of the maps, and as a result, sometimes you just wouldn't have the sacred site, or you wouldn't have the trading post, and they've only just fixed that recently. So my proposal would be, what if there was like, say, a set of like 15 to 20 map types, or not map types, but maps that you could play on for Lipany that always generated exactly the same, that were perfect in every way, but there was 20 of them. You get what I mean? So basically, it's still random, right? Like, your relic could be here, your relic could be there, that kind of thing. And eventually, people would learn what they look like. We got ourselves a second TC coming through right here. Eventually, people would learn what they look like. But my thinking is that I would... Hold on a minute. Where are you going with this second TC? This is kind of wild. It looked like he was going for a keep TC. Yeah, so basically it would mean that you could, as a developer, control where these spawns are always going to be, know that they're always going to be safe, but at the same time have that element of randomness to it. It's not going to be like StarCraft, where every single game is exactly the same on every single map. Not like that. And I don't mean every single game, but rather I mean like the map spawn is always going to be the exact same. Because it wouldn't be the exact same. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd be curious, because at the end of the day, I mean, you can do things the easy way or the hard way. And the easy way is that way. The hard way is trying to make every single map perfect and never have any imbalances. And it's like, bro, good luck. Like, have you seen Wetlands? That map is absolute dog shit. Like, I almost prevented myself from saying dog shit, but I'm like, no, that map is 100% dog shit. The spawns on that map are so bad, and it's just like, it's not about the person who coded it. It's just the consequence of having procedurally generated maps. You're going to have dog shit spawns. It's so hard to try and generate a map and then have it generate perfectly every single time. It's just I don't think it's possible. I mean, obviously it could be possible, but I don't think we've got the man hours for it. So that could be a nice little medium. But anyway, I digress. I move forward. Take a look at this. We got 3 archery rangers coming down on the expansion town center. The Muslim's going to spot that out. Looking to try and take out the scout. Not going to have too much luck there. It does manage to escape with 39 health, and now the first of the sacred sites beginning to get taken up. You can see it's going to be this one over on the far eastern side. He's going to work his way through. The second one coming in middle, and the third one over on the west side is going to be taken out very shortly. First sacred site in. Does he look for walls, or does he look to secure this central sacred site first? That is going to be the question. He's not going to look to wall it just yet. Oh, I take that back. Already got those walls coming down. So the opening here for the Muslim is looking pretty decent. I like his position so far. I'd be curious to see if Louis actually going to be able to deny sacred sites from him, because that's the big thing, right? Like, you want to be looking towards 3 sacred sites as the deli. If you can capture all 3 sacred sites, you're going to have yourself a very happy time. Does manage to take out the scholar, so nice little victory right there early on for Louis. Second sacred site is coming in. He could look to run a villager out here. If I'm Louis, I'm definitely running a single vill out here. I tell you what, an archer would do just fine. So that is a good call by him. Knight did manage to stay alive, and the Kremlin going to be defending. Remember, he's got these tickets here in the event he does need to challenge. And instead of standing on the sacred site, okay, there we go. Instead of standing on the sacred site, he's just attacking the scholar, and it's much better to stand on the sacred site then attack the scholar first. But the horsemen are coming through, so only for a short amount of time is he actually going to be able to hold this. Well, hold on a minute, because we've got ourselves some knights, and the horsemen going to be coming in. The knight's obviously going to be looking to repel that, and I think very, very quickly, the Muslim realizes I'm not going to have the unit numbers I need to take this third sacred site. Maybe it's best I just focus on the second one for now. Look to get some walls up. This one's quite easy to wall as well. You've got some nice little avenues that you can wall off. Actually, the berries do make it quite hard to wall, because now you've got a wall at the front. Oh, that's not the best sacred site, and it's so far forward as well. That's the tough spot. So now not only are you walling in this sacred site at the front, you're walling it in very close to your enemy. So it's going to make it tough. This is a nice little sacred site, though. Very nice nice little pocket he's got. So I suspect he probably leaves this one open and then looks to challenge on the west side. That's probably how I would be doing it. So I would just wall up, you know, here, and then across. The problem is because you've got villagers so close that he's just going to be able to cut through. So you might have to leave a couple of archers here just to prevent the cut throughs, or chop throughs rather. But Louis behind this, no sign just yet of a castle age. We'll bring it over from the villager count to the income count, so you can get an idea of where these guys are at. By the same token, I keep looking up here and seeing the names. I'm like, Don Ardi? No, that is not Don Ardi. It is somebody different. It is Muslim, of course. I think he's currently rank 1 on the ladder as well. Muslim obviously smashing it out of the ballpark when it comes to the ladder. Doing very well there. But that is a lot of villagers on gold. That amount of villagers on gold is like Louis MT saying, all right, guys, it's time. It's a bank run time. We are just taking the money and we are running. He's going to the castle age, that's for sure. Militia actually coming out. Nice little timing here with the militia. First time in the game that we'll be seeing these guys come out. At least the first time that I've seen. I think that there may have been militia out sooner than this, just because I think he's got the tickets for it, right? Like you look, he's got 0 tickets, so, and only 8 militia, which means 4 tickets. So that, yeah, he must have used militia at some point. I just never caught it. Now looking to try and put some siege on. Do these guys siege at the same rate everybody else sieges? Yeah, they do. 13 torch damage. Okay. And so there's the walls coming in from the Muslim. So definitely nice walls. Great little defensive pocket he's got over here as well. And of course can look to try and hold that central sacred site. We'll need to get a gate in there. It's going to save him a lot of walk time. And any spears coming yet? No spears coming yet. I find this quite kind of interesting, right? Like no spears. I guess there's 2 schools of thought, right? Like from the Muslim's perspective, he can look to add spears here, and that's going to do well at defending against the knights. The problem is if he does add spears, then he's not adding in, you know, archers that are going to be able to deal with enemy archers, or horsemen, which are going to be able to deal with enemy archers. So, yeah, I guess it's an interesting way to play. Let's just put it that way. But I think it gives you a lot more brute force. Like you can force fights if you've got those archers. So I think that's one way that you can look at it. But it looks like for the moment, the age up's going to be coming through. We are going to be seeing it is the compound of the defender. So we've seen a pretty heavy, heavy favoring to this landmark, I would say. A lot of people have been looking to play it. You don't really seem to see the House of Learning that much anymore. People not really interested in education at this point. They just want to defend things. They just like to defend things. And now we've got that scholar moving. Is he coming out towards this central point? Sacred site number 1 is safe. He's actually moving for relics here. So going to be moving out across the map, looking to pick up those relics. So nicely positioned here. He's got a couple of them already safely ready to pick up. And look at this. Get ready to hear these beautiful sounds. This is, I mean, we're witnessing a clinic right now from Muslim. This is exactly what you want to be doing. You just want to hear those 3 relics getting picked up at the exact same time. Here you go. Get ready. 1. Let me hear the next one. 2. 3. Oh, I love it. I love it. That is exactly how you play the Delhi Sultanate. For anybody out there wanting to improve with the Delhi Sultanate, that is one of the things that you got to start doing. You got to start picking up those relics as soon as you age up. Take them off the map. Do not let the enemy ever contest them. And now we see the first of the knights coming out, looking to make his attempt at defense here. He's severely outnumbered though, so I mean, he's a brave little fella. Let's say that much. But I don't like the odds of defending that one, buddy. Relic going to be coming back in. You can see he's got a nice little rally point over here. Actually, has he sent all of his relics out to go? All of his monks are going to grab that? Hold on, is that how that works? What happens here? So if this one picks it up, do they all turn around now? Is that what's going to happen? Nope. They're all just walking. He's actually accidentally selected all of them. Ooh. Okay, I think he's realized now. So that's 4 of the relics picked up. Last relic is here safely in the base of Louis. There is a little way through here. I'm not sure if you can get through here. You know what? I actually played a game. I don't think it was against Louis. It was on one of my Smurf accounts. He snuck like 3 knights through a hole like this. And I was just like, bro, he killed like 9 vills. I'm like, man, I can't believe I got done by a hole like that. It can happen to any of us. Just you watch out, all right? The smallest holes will get you. Anyway, upgrades starting to come through. It looks like it's going to be village fortresses coming in first. 3 minutes and 45. It looks like he's only just started researching that despite aging up about, what was maybe a minute ago. So a little bit late on clicking that button and the castle age comes through for Louis. Let's take a look at this hunting cabin, or rather this, I like that he killed the deer with the archers. The high trade house. I'm gonna go 174. 144. That was close. I'll take it. 30 within 30. I feel like that's 8 points. 8 points for Drongo. It's always fun trying to guess the high trade houses. Up towards the north, though, we see the first of the keeps starting to come down. Now, he does have the Wi-Fi out here. Keep that in mind. So it is going to be reducing the time that it takes to bring in village fortresses. That's going to be the key differentiator here. But that sacred site over on the west side, still not actually challenged. He's going to fall back with the archers. All of the upgrades going to be coming in. And there's a part of me that actually wants to flip these guys right now. I'm going to flip them around. It's very rare that I do that. And I almost regret doing it immediately. But we've kind of got like Louis, who's taking up base over here on the left. On the right, you've kind of got the Muslim looking to attack or defend, I guess you could say. So even though they've spawned that way, it definitely feels like the expansion over here has changed that dynamic a little bit. Another keep going to be looking to come down. And now defending on the front line, we enter into the cinematic mode as the archers just get their upgrade through in time. We've got veterancy on both sides. No, it looks like veterancy only on the one side. Crossbowmen coming in. Horsemen on the front line getting absolutely eviscerated here. Beautiful little choke point he's got. Villagers going to start taking some stabs here on the backside. And now Horsemen going to be looking around in on the back as well. Beautiful little concave. Take a look at this. Louis MT just putting on a masterclass of how to keep your archers alive. Find a little choke point like this. Look at the cavalry at the front cannot get in. Take a look at my girlfriend. Look at that. Oh my lord, that is a lot of villagers looking to build that that keep. That is they talk about castles on the top of hills, don't they? That is one Ed Sheeran song that I would be writing about, that is for sure. But this keep looks a little bit doubtful as to whether it's going up. 15 vills out here, but all of a sudden the knights do come in, and that could be able to hold it. The archer numbers have dwindled here, and it looks like it will be enough to bide the time. And so with that, you've got a really nice position where you can tee off from here. A really safe spot. This is going to be looking down upon the enemy position. Rallying in units here is going to be really hard. And now Louis got to start thinking about the possibility of siege to try and deal with it, but at the same time, we've got villagers so close, ready to just repair up this keep. Obviously, 0 stone in the bank is going to make it hard for him to do that, but they are there, they are ready, they're willing. I'm almost suspecting a siege workshop to get thrown down any second here. Let's take a look from Louis' side. There's the first, there's the second siege workshop, so he's not wasting any time at all. Villager count at the moment, Louis up about 20 villagers, keep that in mind. Also has those double hunting cabins from the beginning. Remember those secret hunting cabins that we all often like to talk about? He never actually went for a secret hunting cabin over on the west side. I guess he was using it for the high trade house anyway. And it feels really tough in this position here for Louis, just because where do you go from here? Because the thing is, you don't know what your enemy's going to do. Okay, so this is what Louis is doing, right? Let's talk about it. Number 1, I need to make trebuchets to deal with this keep. Number 2, I need to make springalds to deal with the inevitable springalds you're going to be making to defend your siege. Now, fortunately, Louis not doing that yet. He's only got trebs in queue, which is 100% the right choice. But the fact that he's gone for double siege workshop signals to me he's very willing, he is aware of the fact that his enemy may actually be looking to go for siege here, because normally you'd only go for the 1. Villager's going to get forced back here. 27 military pop against 27 military pop. Still, that villager count is about 24 vills out. But remember, there's 3 sacred sites, and these guys are ticking down for the Muslim here. He's also got the relics. Remember that. 4 relics in the bag at the moment. 5th relic just nice and safely down here. He could actually come through and pick this up. I don't think that would be too much of a problem. And the trebs begin firing down upon the keep. And all of a sudden, that keep, I mean, this keep looked almost certain to be game ending. But it seems like the Muslim hasn't really looked to leverage it in the way that would enable him to end the game. He's thrown down the keep. He's now lost a town center, in a sense, because this is a villager producing building. Was it a bit of a throwaway? I guess in the same token, or by the same token, Louis has now thrown away resources to deal with that keep. But I guess he's got trebuchets that are left over. Knight numbers looking pretty solid here. Lancer numbers, rather. Militia going to get called. Take a look at this. The militia going to be coming in, helping out quite a fair bit here. He's actually going to be able to take out that Lancer. More militia going to be coming in here. These guys going to be coming to the day. Have a look at this. We got ourselves a little bit of saving grace right now. Somebody called for a prayer, and their prayers are answered. Look at that militia coming in to save the day. How many tickets has he got left? He's got 3 tickets left on that bad boy. Obviously just doesn't have the food for it, though. That's the only thing that's really missing it. So I tell you what, those emergency spears really paying dividends there. I didn't expect it, but now it kind of makes sense, right? The Rus would play a much heavier archer composition, knowing that they can just call upon spears anytime they need them. Really smart play there from Louis. And now in the eastern corner of the map, we do see hunting cabin going to be coming down. Expansion everywhere happening for Louis right now. Not really looking just to stick it to one place. Hunting cabin's just absolutely everywhere. Look at this. I got no idea what was out here. I guess some hunts or something like that. And now going to be looking to return fire into the middle of the map. Slowly and steadily, this keep is going down. He's done a great job in keeping this alive. But I love the fact that he didn't actually make more than the 2 traps. He's making a 3rd trap, but I feel like this is... It's one of those mistakes, right? Like, obviously this keep being up is not a good thing, but you're kind of forcing or draining your enemy's resources, and this is stone. So it's a really good resource to be draining. So it's not a bad thing that it stays up, to be honest. The problem is going to be if your enemy looks to challenge it. We do see another keep going to be coming down. So this is where the whole idea of adding in a 3rd or even a 4th trebuchet isn't actually terrible, just simply because you're going to be able to deal with the rest of these. And look at this, villagers getting picked off. Sacred site number 1 gets knocked out. No more option for a sacred victory, at least not for this cycle. And Louis buys himself a little bit more time. He had a very favorable spawn here. Obviously 2 sacred sites spawned close, and the 3rd one, well, it wasn't that close, but he was able to set up a town center nice and close to it. So he's got a beautiful little proxy base over there. Slowly, he's working towards that 500 cap. You can see he's still got the deer out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deer. Just chilling out. He's going to start taking them out and hopefully look to increase that bounty up to the 500. Needs to call militia. Where are the militia? He's got tickets. There they are. There's the militia coming in. Looking to try and save the day. More archers making their way through. Veterancy is in as well for Muslim. But now Louis in a little bit of trouble. These knights are doing quite well. Trebs making their way over on that west side. Looking to tee off towards the keep in the center of the map. We'll need some protection here. Archer numbers really starting to stack up to 42 archers now for Louis. But look at the villagers. Look at the villagers coming out right now from Muslim, dropping a keep on the stone. He checks the stone. He's like, how much stone you got left in that bad boy? 800? Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take that. That's my stone, actually. Keep gets cancelled, though. The villagers is going to be enough to do it. I tell you what, it probably wasn't the villagers. It was the fact that the archers were getting close and personal here. So at the moment, Muslim's looking pretty decent with regard to his villager count, right? Like, he's lost 8 vills this game, but he's still got some solid villager numbers. And look at this, the villagers over on the west side getting chased back all the way to the keep up towards this northern position. So slowly and steadily, Louis is clawing back map control. On that south side, though, another keep does go down. That's going to be 2 keeps. And I can't help but feel like it was almost a bit of a mistake for Muslim to force Louis into making those trebs, because now he's made the trebs, he can just start clearing out everything. 3 trebs out, Mangonel's here as well to join the party. He's got a lot of resources in this siege at the moment. 12 population space and archer numbers kind of going crazy. How many tickets does he have left on that Kremlin? Another 2 tickets left on that, so not a whole lot. He's really just been saving them for emergencies, and now there's a part of me that's starting to worry for Muslim. I mean, at this point in the game, Louis has stabilized. He's maxed out on population almost. I mean, he's 60 population short, but the big thing for me is the villager count, right? He's still up 30 vills. Is it 30 vills? Yeah, 30 vills, which is a huge amount. Now, the sacred sites, when it comes to the counters, you've only got 1 sacred site remaining, so you're not getting that extra trickle of gold through. Obviously, you still got the relics, but at the end of the day, you're playing the Delhi, and when it comes to Imperial Age, it really is still just an unknown quantity. Whereas when you compare that to the Rus, you're playing against one of the best Imperial civs that there are. They've got Spasskaya Tower, get out of town, throws down a Spasskaya Tower on the large gold. I was about to say, you've got the Spasskaya Tower, which no one ever uses. Not today. That keep does go up. I like it just how it looks like. Oh no, I wasn't going for a Spasskaya Tower. I don't know what you were talking about. Just decides to do it back here. Says, I'm not taking the gold and neither are you. Neither of us are having the gold. Nice little micro coming in from him as well. Horseman coming in, trying to keep the knights back. Does a decent job. Look how much damage these archers are actually doing here to the lancers. I take it back. It's not a lot. They're barely scrapping it. Spasskaya Tower about to complete, though. 15 villagers over on that bad boy. It looks almost certain to get up here. Now, how many keeps are we talking about from the perspective of Muslim? Because we know he's got 1 keep. There's the second one, so that's 2 town centers. There's the third one. So sitting on the equivalent of 3 town centers, plus the main TC is 4. Now he's lost 2. So he could be sitting on the equivalent of 6. And that's the part where I feel like maybe going for that super aggressive keep was not necessarily a questionable decision, because it was a good decision, but whether that forced Louis into making these trebs, and he's like, all right, now I'm just going to clear everything. And now he's got that Spasskaya tower. Like, good luck ever pushing in underneath that. He's going to be able to secure the double gold with that. Going to be able to utilize that as a point to push off and then into the south of the base. So that'll be very, very nice for him. Now, what kind of elite upgrades is he looking for? And we can actually see we've got Court Architects now coming through as well for the Muslim. So going into elite Lancer upgrades or elite Knight upgrades. So definitely the right call from Louis. We'll ride on board with him and see how he's doing as he begins making his way across the map. Interestingly, no walls coming out from either of these guys. I say no walls. I mean, there's a couple of little palisades, but normally at this point in the game, you would see walls absolutely everywhere. And now with the Spasskaya Tower, the Rus have actually unlocked the ability to make stone walls. Remember that. It unlocks the building of stone walls, stone gates, and stone wall towers for the Rus. So they do finally get that option for all you FFA players out there. I know a lot of people love to play the Rus in FFA. Always hated the fact that they couldn't make stone walls. Well, with the Spasskaya Tower, that changed everything. Another keep going to be focused down here. Trebs on the backside. These guys are going to be slowly but steadily teeing off towards that. Elite Knight's now coming through. Boyar's Fortitude yet to make its way through. Let's double check in with the upgrades and see what we've got. Actually, he does have Boyar's Fortitude. Hold on. No, he doesn't. Never mind. It's another upgrade that's in that spot, or just wasn't in that spot. I think Boyar's Fortitude, did it used to be in the stable, and then they must have moved it to the the engineering bay? Excuse me. It happens sometimes. The blacksmith, there we go. You know what's kind of wild? I don't ever think of myself as like a StarCraft player either. It just like the eBay. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm casting a Muslim game and he's a Terran player. It just kind of gets in there. But Scholars now making their way out. I can't help but feel like the Muslims looking at a bit of a last-ditch effort here to try and keep this position in the center of the game. But going up against the Imperial units is just going to be so much harder. These guys have got insane differences in HP. Have a look at this. 230 versus 270. 29 attack versus 24. It's a huge difference in stats. And those trades are just going to slowly and steadily get better and better for Louis. And now we see elite archers going to be coming in for him as well. It's been a real massacre, this game. There's just so much going on with it. All over these sacred sites, all over this central location, and just constantly fighting against it. And I can't help but feel like this is all just because of the secret hunting cabins. For me, it all goes back to the secret hunting cabins. The fact that he was able to get through those sacred sites, the amount of resources that they were pulling in, get into that second town center, it all comes back to those hunting cabins. That really gives him that huge early game economy and enables him to power through up to 52 gold a minute now. Still 144 on this bad boy. Does he have the... He's got the deer back here. Look at the deer. He's got a whole herd of them. He's got 8 huntable deer. So doing well. Siege Workshop finally thrown down here for the Muslim. I think this is the first one of the game. We haven't seen any siege out from him whatsoever. So what does he look to move into? I guess a Mangonel could be quite reasonable here. He could be looking to switch into that. Maybe Mangonel crossbow, Mangonel spear maybe. Could be an option for him. I guess Springalds would also be reasonable to deal with the Trebs, but they're not really a threat sufficient to justify the Siege Workshop. And indeed, it is going to be the Mangonel. So Mangonel going to make a lot of sense here to deal with the elite archers. The question is, how are you going to deal with the elite knights? Because that's the real problem. Once these guys end up getting into your base, you are going to be in trouble town, baby. These guys, I mean, they tank up a lot of damage. You can see he's got +2 ranged armor as well. So he's got a total of 7 armor. And there's the keep drop over on that east side. Now, what's the reaction from Louis? We'll ride on board with him and see what he sees. As the keep gets thrown down, are the knights just going to be sent over towards that direction? Are they going to be rerouted? Is that what he's going to look to do? Because that keep is going up pretty quickly. There we go. There's the reroute coming through. Vils get pulled as well. Looks like he's not going to be sieging the keep, but rather going to be attacking the villagers that are building it. It looks like it might be a little bit too late on these, and I suspect this keep may actually get up on the main front. Everything is holding for the moment. Yeah, the villagers just going to be pulling out. We can see they're actually going to be attempting a wall. We talked a bit earlier about the fact there were no walls up, but indeed it does seem like this keep is going to be successful. Boyar's Fortitude coming in. A couple villagers do go down. He would have been able to have gotten them all inside. Up to 140 villagers now for our Rus player. 115 on the other side, and there's the double Mangonel shot coming off. Looks like it's going a little bit short, though. Now looking to hit the backside off the top rope. Only hits the one archer. I tell you what, some beautiful splits coming in from Louis. And now we see the first of the mangonels taken out. Second mangonel gets a shot off over on the east side, or on the right side of the battle. A pretty decent shot there, but at the end of the day, it does end up going down and not going to be the cause of any units dying. Maybe one, I think, yeah, 2 archers. A total of 2 archers taken out for those 2 mangonels. Keep does come through. It's going to secure the gold. It's going to stop the gathering of food. But at the end of the day, 141 villagers is going to mean the economy for Louis is just absolutely crazy right now. And he's looking to pick up extra upgrades. Incendiary arrows also going to be coming in. Louis MT is having a game right now. That is for sure. He is gaming. I feel like the intro to Beastie's videos right now. Gaming. We are gaming gamers right now. We got the keep going down over on this west side. He's looking his best to try and get that one up. But you and I both know the result of that. And I mean, at this point in time, how do you possibly play this as the Delhi? Your enemy's Imperial. You can go Imperial, but if you do that, you're going to be so far behind on upgrades, because the thing is, you need upgrades. Actually, how many scholars has he got? He's only got 8 scholars. See, if he was sitting on like 20 scholars, I could probably justify, but then 20 scholars is kind of crazy, right? Like, you can't just be having 20 scholars. That's so much population. Archer's moving in. This is looking really tough right now. The Muslim trying his best to hold on. And we do see the Palace of the Sultan is going to be going down for the Muslim, but you've got to be asking the question whether it's actually going to be coming to fruition or not, just because the numbers here are so damn strong from Louis. And look at the splits coming in right now. Looking like a Marine Lord, just splitting Marines right here. It's impressive, the micro that comes in. At the same time, that counterattack over towards the east side hasn't really petered out, but definitely hasn't done too much over there. Palace of the Sultan. So I think that's the landmark that's going to provide absolutely nothing. All right, fellas. Well, if you've enjoyed watching this casted game, make sure you go check out the Muslim. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him live. And of course, make sure you check out the Patreon if you want to improve or catch some replay reviews. Of course, I'll leave the link down in the description of that as well. And of course, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.